Hello everyone, Stephanie from Mrs. D's Corner in the Intentional IEP. Today I want to show you how I am prepping the IEP Blueprint with the IEP Toolkit. So they are two separate things. The IEP Blueprint is really training videos with a couple of different resources and printables checklists that you can use to learn how to better make your IEP process more efficient and effective. So it's training videos. The IEP Toolkit is all of the checklists, templates, forms, all of the things you need to implement that process. So when you put them together, it really just is this perfect marriage of, oh my gosh, IEP goodness. And it was requested that I do this video to show you how they both go together and how I would prep it, even though the IEP Blueprint is more of a digital thing, because this is what the pages look like. You can click to play the video. Obviously, when you print it, you can't click play, and all of these links are clickable within the IEP Blueprint itself, but it was requested that I do this video to show you how I would put them together. So what you're gonna see is I have my IEP Toolkit already printed and prepped, and how I do this is just in a binder, a 1-inch binder that I got probably on clearance at some point at back to school. I try not to pay full price for binders. And then I just print all of the pages, and I love these plastic sleeve protectors so that I can put multiple copies of things in here and I don't have to hole punch anything. And so when I go to make copies, you don't see the hole punch copies. It's just, this is my personal preference. So I use all these binder sleeves. All of the pages of the IEP Toolkit are in here within the binder sleeves. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I've already printed all of the pages of the IEP Blueprint, even the digital pages like I showed you with all the trainings on them. I did print them. I wanted to be able to show you guys how I would put it together. So you're gonna see me speed up some things while I put things together, but at the end I will show you the final product page by page so you can see it. And then if you want to grab the IEP Blueprint or the IEP Toolkit at any time, check the video description, I've got you. So I have grabbed, I just had an extra 1/2-inch binder laying around. What I actually think I'm going to do though, is because I don't think they're all gonna fit in a 1/2 inch, I'm actually just gonna throw them in my IEP Toolkit and just call it the IEP Toolkit. And I'm gonna take these pages out of here and we are gonna start brand new. So the first thing that I always do is put in just a bunch of blank, empty binder sleeves, because you can always add more, but I like to just have a bunch in here already. So again, just a regular 1-inch binder. And then I have that in here. So my pages are out of order, but we are gonna do this. We are going to do this. Okay, now in a perfect world, you would have printed all of these documents and already had them in order. I printed them out of order because I had some things printed and I needed to print other things. So when you go to print the IEP Blueprint, if you choose to put binders together like what I'm going to do, or a singular binder, it'll already be in order for you. So you're gonna skip about the 3 minutes that it just took me to do that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna put the cover, the IEP Blueprint cover on the back so that I know that it's also in here. I don't think that I need the download list. I'm actually not going to use that. And now I'm just gonna take each one and stick it in a binder sleeve. Okay, I've put the IEP Blueprint in here. I'll show you once I put all of the IEP Toolkit stuff in here. I'll flip the camera and give you the panoramic view of my binder here so you can see it page per page. But I wanna put the IEP Toolkit papers in here, so all I'm gonna do is take these papers that I already had in my binder, because they all are going to correlate with something within the IEP Blueprint. I'm gonna take them and put them where they go. And because this was already included in the IEP Blueprint, just this, and it was updated, I'm just gonna throw this one out so that I don't need additional copies. Same with that IEP Writing Timeline, because I updated some things when I did the IEP Blueprint. The new IEP Toolkit will have the updated forms, but the ones I have printed don't. So I'm just making sure that I don't have doubles and duplicates of things that I've already updated. One of my favorite parts, and I need to take this paraprofessional form out of here, of the IEP Writing Timeline is just informing everyone that they are part of the IEP process. And so that includes sending out all those input forms, and I love, or questionnaires. So if you're unsure what an input form is, like a paraprofessional questionnaire, gen ed teacher questionnaire, student questionnaire, parent questionnaire. I like to print them on different papers. So this one is a paraprofessional, this one is for parents, this one is for the gen ed teacher, and this is 2 different versions of the student one, so that all the IEP participants on the child's IEP team can participate. So I like to print them on colored paper. One, because they're fun, it makes it more fun for everyone involved, but also because color coding is life, and so parents are gonna see this, you know, blue piece of paper in their backpack over just this white regular piece of paper. But also when you stick this in a teacher's mailbox in the mailroom, they're gonna see this and they'll be like, what is this purple piece of paper? Or if they know that it's, you know, Stephanie always has this purple piece of paper, I know what this is, I know what to do with this, and I know to send it back. So love printing out those input forms on colored paper. It's not a must, but it definitely makes it a little bit more fun, and it definitely helps you with the color code. And now that I've put everything together, I just want to go through real quick and check it, and then I'm going to flip you around so you can see my actual binder and I can explain everything to you. All right, time to show you inside of my IEP Toolkit / IEP Blueprint binder. I'm going to keep the IEP Toolkit cover on there just because all of my IEP Toolkit things are in there. But in my mind, as you know, that it is the Blueprint and the IEP Toolkit together, so you can put whatever cover you want on here. So I just used a regular 1-inch binder. And then again, I used all of those plastic sleeves. So you can see everything in this binder is in a plastic sleeve here. There are some extra things that I've printed out, like the little posters and laminated, that I've kept in the back. And then there's some of these contact cards and the IEP folder snapshot that I've put here in the front to have just access to. So the first thing is I just went in order of the IEP Blueprint and then put all of the IEP Toolkit pieces in here. So this is the IEP to-do list with the video instructions. So if I know that I want to learn how to use all of these different forms, so there are a bunch of different forms within each of these, but I know that this is all beginning of the year, and then on the back, these are all for quarters and semesters. If I want to do it all together, like an all IEP school year to do, I know I have the helpful one here, and then I have a blank one behind it. So that's just how I prefer to do it, especially when I have so many of the same. You would just print one and use that and put it in here, but I want to have copies of all of the copies in here, so that way if I ever need anything, I do have it. And so then we have the IEP to-dos for the month, and then you have the IEP to-dos, sorry, this is for the year, so the school year, and then the month, and then general IEP to-dos, and then end of the year IEP to-dos. So these are all my to-do lists, and this is that training that tells me about all of those different pieces. This is from the IEP Toolkit, so I put that here because I'll need this and this to track all of my IEP meetings throughout the year, and it just makes sense to put it here. Then we move into the IEP Writing Timeline, the new and updated. Looks so beautiful, I'm so excited. And then all of the training videos from there within the IEP Blueprint go through the IEP Toolkit, or go through the IEP Writing Timeline, I'm sorry, and explain to you all of the different pieces. So you would click play on the PDF and it would take you to the video. And so there are no pieces that I need from here for finding common meeting times. And then we have send meeting invites. So obviously the IEP Toolkit has all of those meeting invites. So I've put those 3 options here to use. And then we have sending those input forms. So here are all of the different input forms for all the different IEP team members. And then we have writing the child's IEP. So within the IEP Blueprint, you have this clickable PDF page. This will show you the federal IDEA template, and then each state has examples of their templates, or it's the state special education website. From there, oops, we have an extra piece there. So then what I did from here was the IEP template explained. This is multiple pages, so I just stapled them together because if I'm ever going to be using this IEP template explained, I'm going to use all 3 pages. Same with the IEP writing checklist, so I just stapled it and stuck it on the back because they go here together. What I did from here, this is from the IEP Toolkit. These are all of the modifications and the accommodations that are in the IEP Toolkit, so that list, so that's included. And then I put the IEP writing course index here. So if you're interested in taking intentional IEP writing, it is included inside of our membership now, but it doesn't include any of the downloads. But I wanted this quick reference to know, like, okay, so there are these different additional downloads inside of the course. And you can take the course outside of membership, and it does include the download. So you have that option as well. Sending home the proposed draft IEP, there's nothing with that, because that's all within the writing and IEP, and that's explained in that previous video. Following up, IEP meeting. So here's meeting reminders you can send. And then there's that one, gathering samples, holding the meeting. So here's your IEP meeting checklist that I said I updated for the IEP Blueprint. It's right here on the back of this, so I can use this throughout the whole process. We have our IEP meeting agendas, so I have an initial and an annual. There are new ones that I haven't printed out yet because I haven't printed out the updated IEP Toolkit, but there are additional ones in there as well. IEP meeting ground rules, just a quick before we begin this meeting, special education acronyms. This is the bonus training inside of the Blueprint about student-led IEPs. You have next steps for after the IEP meeting. So that comes with the IEP referral timeline and the IEP process. And then these are included. These two are in the IEP Blueprint. And then these ones are all within the IEP Toolkit. And then because after the IEP meeting is implementation and you have progress reporting, there are the progress reporting comments, and this is not the updated version, so I have that as well. But then I have, again, my posters that I've linked here. So if I ever wanted to pull this to show parents, here's the referral process, here's the IEP process, so they know what's coming. But this is how I would put together the IEP Blueprint with the IEP Toolkit. Thank you so much for watching this training on how to integrate the IEP Blueprint and the IEP Toolkit together and how to prep them and put them in a binder together. If you have any additional questions, feel free to send me an email at theintentionaliep@gmail.com or at support@mrsdscorner.com. Either one will get you to me, or you can leave a comment on this video and I will come back frequently and check the questions that you do have. But from here, I will see y'all in the next training. Have a good rest of your day.